Born in 1964 in the quiet Russian town of Ostashkov, as a young man, Sergey Butorin served in a mine-laying military unit near Moscow in the suburb of Odintsov. He was also a trained boxer, disciplined, tough, and already known for his violent temper. After leaving the military, he tried a normal life, but it didn't last. He worked as a bouncer at a small cafe, but the criminal world was already pulling him in. In 1990, together with his younger brother Alexander, Butorin committed his first major crime. They robbed the apartment of a wealthy art collector. The haul was massive, paintings and jewelry worth around $9 million, and the brothers vanished before the police could trace them. After that robbery, Butorin never went back to legal work. Instead, he became an extortionist and armed robber, shaking down businesses and did so for protection money. Soon he formed his own gang, and violence became their main language. They killed when it was necessary and sometimes when it wasn't. Some victims were murdered for money, others were killed simply to build fear. When a rival gang tried to challenge them, Butorin's men drove them out of the city. But even after the rivals stopped being afraid, Osia kept hunting them down one by one. By 93, Butorin had become the underground boss of Odintsova. Around that time, he was introduced to the powerful leader of a Rehovskaya crime group, the legendary Sylvester. Butorin quickly became one of his most trusted enforcers. Then everything changed. In 94, Sylvester was assassinated when his car exploded in a massive bomb attack in Moscow. His death triggered a brutal gang war inside the organization. Butorin chose his side, and he acted without mercy. On his orders, high-ranking members were murdered. Even people in his own crew could be executed for the smallest mistake. By the mid-90s, Butorin had taken control. Investigators later linked his gang to at least 57 murders between 95 and 96. His crew was filled with former athletes and ex-special forces soldiers, making them one of the most dangerous criminal teams in Russia. But the police were closing in, so Butorin did something almost unbelievable. He faked his own death. A lavish funeral was held, convincing many people the feared gangster was gone forever, but it was all a lie. In reality, Butorin secretly moved to Spain, where he lived like a king. Meanwhile, in Russia, people who talked about him started dying. Witnesses, enemies, former associates, and investigators began to suspect the truth. Osia was still alive, and they were right. February 15, 2001. Butorin was living in a brothel near Barcelona when police moved in during an international operation. When officers arrested him, he was carrying a gun. Spanish court sentenced him to 8 years in prison for weapons possession. Then in 2009, he was extradited back to Russia. Their prosecutors connected him to dozens of killings during the brutal gang wars of the 90s. The court eventually sentenced him to life imprisonment for more than 30 murders. Today, Sergey Butorin remains locked inside a high-security Russian prison. At one point, he even tried to join Russia's war effort in exchange for freedom. Authorities refused.